get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much. 2016, year of the snake. Time for a change in the White House, y'all. Bring it.
There we go. How's it doing, everybody? Karen, how's it going? I did some research, y'all. We're going to talk about what's going on around the country. You know, the longer this shutdown madness goes, the bigger country accent I get. I think I feel that country calling me. Looking at this shutdown list, I think I know why. We're going to talk about that. Ooh, yeah. Been working really hard, you guys. Love you. Click the share button. Let everybody know we are live. Let everybody know we are live. They never let everybody know when we're live. Sad. To all these celebrities, Karen. It's so popular. It's so popular to have the virus, right? If you're a celebrity, it's so popular. So popular. Y'all use the same makeup guy too. You don't look like that. You don't look like that when you feel all sick. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and the royal family. I know. Oh, everybody's got the virus except for everybody. There are people who have the virus. I get it. But I'm going to need to see a doctor's note for that, right? I'm going to need to see a doctor's note. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I do like that. I do. There are several states where you no longer have the right to purchase a firearm. Just FYI. Just want to point that out. It's not good. It's not good, Kyle. Welcome. It's not good. Not good at all. Trump. You say I lie. Make America great again. Make America great again. Trump. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. You are watching the one and only Trump Talk US live in DC with Suzzanne Monk. I am Suzzanne Monk. We are 8 minutes away from our nation's beautiful capital, where I'm seeing right now they got the little light on over there. Means they're supposed to be still working. I don't know if they're actually working. They might be busy social distancing themselves and virtue signaling about how much they care about everything that's happening to people with this horrible virus. When they do not care, they do not care. They do not care at all. We're also 15 minutes away from our president's beautiful White House, where he did a presser earlier today. He's been doing a lot of pressers, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I, of course, want to let you know we have Chris McDonald in the room representing Trump Talk US over here on Facebook. I want to thank our sponsor, sendmeg.com. I want to give a shout out to the Trump Towel, thetrumptowel.com, where you can get yourself a Trump towel and support Gold Star families and Angel families. All right, let's get started. Let's first talk about what the president had to say today. We are seeing the president lean more and more towards talking about the economy. I wanted to, hopefully I'll have enough battery. I let my phone die, but I might have enough battery here to scroll back. President Trump retweets a lot sometimes. You have to scroll through a lot of his retweeting, and that takes a long time. He says here, our people want to return to work. They will practice social distancing and all else, and seniors will be watched over protectively and lovingly. We can do two things together. The cure cannot be worse by far than the problem. Congress must act now. We will come back strong. Of course, pressuring Congress, putting on Congress to do the deal. We still see the deal being negotiated right now in the House. Look what they were done. They turned that little light off. They did not. They did not. The president has also posted, as of yesterday, his 15-day plan to slow the spread. So he's putting a timeline on the process. We're going to talk about how important a timeline is in just a second. But I think there's another tweet that I wanted to read. No, not the one about Cuomo. Not the one about Cuomo. Nobody cares about Cuomo. Right. I mean, I will say the state of New York, a high infection rate, but very low death rate in the state of New York. And so I'm certainly excited. Something they're doing is working out because obviously, as you know, it is important to keep death rates down. It's not so much getting the virus. This is why I've been actually not a big fan of this whole contain yourself, everybody hide in their houses, let's shut down all the business, destroy the economy, put everybody out of work, because that's not actually the most effective way to contain a virus. It's not about everybody might spread the virus as much as it's about once there are people who get the virus, we can treat them effectively and prevent them from dying. People don't die from getting the virus. They die from not getting the proper treatment if they have the virus. And you can obviously tell. You can tell it by how different countries have had different results and what kind of medical systems they have. You can tell it in different states. How's it going, Mary? You can. I know. That's Karen. That's awesome. Everybody should laugh at this. Everyone should laugh now. When they reach a deal, they will blow smoke out of Nancy's dentures, just like the Pope. Just like the Pope. Okay, so let me just see. I thought there was. Okay. The lamestream media is the dominant force in trying to get me to keep our country closed as long as possible in the hope that it will be detrimental to my election success. The real people want to get back to work as soon as possible. The real people want to get back to work as soon as possible. So we see the president himself talking about the importance of putting an end to this panic, putting an end to the shutdowns, to the stay-at-home orders, to the no restaurant orders, to everybody having to be out of work, no business, all of this madness. You guys don't even know across the country. I'm gonna show you this. We're going to talk about this in just a second. This is the list of states. 24 states in a district. 25 states. Half the country. A lot of blue. A lot of Democrats on this list. Right? Is anybody surprised by that? Not at all. So, we see the president trying to put a time frame on this process. Now, people are giving people, like Kirstie Alley came out, she praised the president. The media gave her a whole bunch of credit. How could you praise this president? He's being so awful in the whole process. No, actually, he was addressing the situation back in January with the travel bans from China, the travel bans from Europe. He did not get good advice from his CDC and Fauci. I got to be honest, and I think even we're all starting to find out a little bit more of what went on there. And as far as advising the president, how should we shut down? What should we be doing? Because there should have been a lot more money up front going to hospitals, as we've talked about on this show, right when we were doing border closing. So I feel that his team could have done better, but the president with that team, and taking the misinformation that the World Health Organization gave them that were coming out, it's coming out now, what the World Health Organization said and what was the reality and what ended up being the situation. With that, the president has, of course, taken charge of the situation. We certainly see that much more. He has certainly gotten his head around the idea that both the economy and the public health must be taken care of. And I'm so, for one, grateful that we have gotten to that point. It is so good to hear my president start to talk again about the economy and about the necessity to balance both needs. If you listen to the press conference today, President Trump also talked about which several states could in fact go back to normal, to jobs, to normal. Their schools can go back into session. There are several states that are doing that are very, very low cases. And I'm going to see. Hopefully, I have enough battery for that. Oh, I might have enough battery. Let's see. So there's a great site, you guys, I use all the time for statistics. If you are looking for statistics on COVID cases and COVID deaths, okay, state by state, country by country, but also state by state. That's what we're going to look at right now. That's what we're going to actually look at right now. So we're actually seeing the president take charge of the situation, and to keep in mind that the economy is important by putting a time frame on these shutdowns. It's so important. We are making it possible for these business owners. We are asking to sacrifice thousands, millions, aggregately billions and trillions of dollars. We're asking them to sacrifice their livelihoods, their employees' livelihoods, and to make decisions based on, do I keep my employees? Do I stay open? Do I close? Do I lay my employees off, hoping I save enough money to be able to reopen my doors and we need to know what time. That's for how long? How long do I pay my employees to stay open? Because when are we going to reopen? How long do I shut down for and then plan to reopen? How long do I lay my employees off for? These are decisions business owners need to make. And what we have right now is until further notice. We have such a ridiculous let's screenshot that. We'll screenshot that as well. Okay. Just DC using their emergency alert system to try to make you panic more and stay at home. Because, see, in DC, this is why I love this list. In Washington, DC, for example, they want us to panic and stay at home because there are 183 people who have had the virus and 2 have died. 2 people, 183 people, but we want to stay home. So the same thing, let's start to look at this list, and that's why I brought it up. Because what we're seeing is a lot of states that have shut down with no reason other than, interestingly enough, the governor has a D in front of their name. What are you suggesting, Suzzanne? Are you suggesting that the Democrats are actually intentionally increasing the shutdown to try to attack the president? Yeah. And the president knows that too. He mentioned it. That's what he tweeted about. That's what he talked about when the reporter asked him about it in today's press conference. Yes. And we're going to go through right here. Okay. So, state of Washington. Obviously, the state of Washington having some real problems. It has 2,588 cases and 130 deaths in the state of Washington. So that is one of the higher numbers of cases, certainly. Democrat. Okay, that's important to note. The state of Oregon. Okay, the state of Oregon, 256 cases and 8 deaths. So Washington, thousands, 3,000 or whatever, 100 and something deaths. Oregon, nearby, but 286 cases and 8 deaths. These are statistics as of today. So this is worldometers.com. I recommend it. Again, Democrat. Okay, of course, California. California has 2,998 cases. Okay, they have 65 deaths. So much fewer deaths than Washington. Washington has the highest death rate in the country. Something they're doing is not working there. Somebody needs to just check in with what they're doing in Washington and try to figure out what's going on with that. So, of course, California is Democrat governor. Let's look at Nevada. 321 cases, 6 deaths. Democrat governor. Let's look at New Mexico. I got to scroll way down. 112 cases, 1 death. 112 cases, 1 death. It's a sparse desert state, you guys. Democrat governor. Okay. Let's look up Oklahoma. Oklahoma happens to be a Republican governor, 164 cases, 5 deaths. Wisconsin again. Democrat governor. And let's see, 630 cases, 7 deaths. 7 deaths. Illinois, obviously, Democrat governor, 1,865 cases, 19 deaths. Okay, 19 deaths. Louisiana, Democrat governor, 1,795 cases, 65 deaths. They're not doing, what are you doing down there in Louisiana? Not so good, but certainly not outrageous. Not like we're seeing in New York, where, of course, there are 30,000 cases right now and 285 deaths in the state of New York. So New York is a hot spot. That's what we're being told. That's, of course, what the president said as well. Indiana, 477 cases, 14 deaths. Michigan, they just shut down Michigan. It's kind of unfortunate. I've got some great friends in Michigan. They're very frustrated with being shut down in Michigan. Okay. They thought they were going to be doing all right, and they, in fact, got shut down. 2,295 cases, 43 deaths. So, Michigan also having, again, Democrat governor. Ohio was shut down actually pretty early in the process. 704 cases, 11 deaths. Now, this is what I want you to notice. There is a fantastic difference between some of these states that are actually having, a number of cases, maybe a number of deaths, and then these like Ohio, okay, 704 cases, 11 deaths. Very low. Republican governor, kind of a rhino, right? Kentucky, this is, again, 198 cases, 5 deaths. This is a bad car accident on the highway there. West Virginia, this is one of the funniest ones. Let me see going. 39 cases, no deaths. Oh, it's a Republican state too. No deaths. 39 people have it. Nobody has died. They want everybody to stay in their house because 39 people got sick and were treated and got better and didn't die yet. Now, will one of them die? Will a few of them? I don't know. I'm not their doctor. But what I can tell you is the vast majority, they have a pretty good chance to recover because our death rate is 1.2, 1.3% on any given day, depending on how great New York is mastering to keep their death rate low and how bad Washington is raising up the death rate. They're really bending the curve. All right, so let's continue. Pennsylvania, good old Pennsylvania, again, run by a Democrat state. 1,127 cases, 11 deaths. It's a big state, too. Hawaii. Of course, you do know that the state of Hawaii is, in fact, run by a Democrat. And they have 95 cases in Hawaii and 1 death. Wouldn't it be interesting to find out maybe which of the islands the most cases were on and who died where? And maybe only if you're going to shut down for 95 cases and 1 death, if you're going to shut down for 95 cases and 1 death, maybe check if maybe not all the islands need to be shut down. It's an island. How's it go? You can't be more spread out. Okay, you're on an island. The people are on the other island. It does not get any more spread out than that. Literally, there's an ocean between you. It's so ridiculous. All right, Virginia, of course, somewhere in the middle here. 391 cases and 9 deaths. 391 cases and 9 deaths. And they shut down all non-essential business. Yeah. And we know that's Northam. He's a Democrat. Okay. Washington, D.C., as we know, we are shut down. We are a Democrat. We have only had, in the District of Columbia, 183 cases and 2 deaths. 183 cases, 2 deaths, as we talked about it. New York, we talked about they have the high number of cases, 30,000 and 285 deaths. They certainly have the highest hotspot area. Vermont, Republican governor, 123 cases, 8 deaths. 123 cases, 8 deaths. Massachusetts, kind of, it is a Republican, but definitely sort of a, I don't hear a lot of positive, strong conservative values necessarily coming out of the state of Massachusetts really lately. It's unfortunate. 1,838, 15 deaths. Deaths. Connecticut, a Democrat state, 875, looks like 19 deaths, excuse me. New Jersey, Democrat state, they have the second most cases at 4,402. So when you are looking at New York and the situation in New York, they have 30,000 cases compared to New Jersey's 4,400. So there is certainly a much bigger outbreak going on in New York, and certainly different measures should be taken in that environment than necessarily in all these other states. Let's look at Delaware, again, a Democrat state, 119 cases and no deaths. 119 people got it. Nobody died. State shut down. How's it going, my show? So, Maryland, of course, also Governor Larry Hogan, who votes with the Democrats almost all the time. He is bad about it. And that is to 423 cases and 4 deaths. 17 out of the 5 states in a district that are shut down are run 18 are run by Democrats. Of the states that remain open, the vast majority of them are Republican. So what we are seeing is the vast push by the Democrats to ensure that they have the ability to keep this country shut down as long as possible to harm our president, Donald J. Trump. To try to harm that's why he said it. Trump, he wouldn't shut down. He wouldn't say something if he didn't mean it. And he certainly wouldn't say, hey, the fake news media is certainly trying to mess with me if he didn't mean it. And they are. That's exactly what's happening. The left, the Democrats are working very hard to make sure that they can continue the shutdowns as long as possible. The media wants to continue to induce as much panic, to continue the shutdowns as much as possible. But what we have now is real data. You guys, we have numbers now. They could do the panic game when it was brand new and nobody knew what was going on. The disease has just really started to emerge here in the United States. I can see how you get people to panic. Okay. Now we have facts. Now we have data. Now we have statistics that we can actually look at and determine whether or not we need to make these drastic decisions. And the president is seeing more and more, no, we don't need to be making these drastic decisions, certainly in many of these states. Delaware. It's ridiculous. Kentucky, seriously. Don't know what's going on with you. So many of these states do not know what's going on with you. When you are making a decision, Hawaii, are you kidding me? When you're making a decision, there are no deaths, but you've shut down your restaurant industry because 183 people in the District of Columbia got sick, and two people with already previous medical conditions who had already serious health complications died of this disease. They have shut down the entire restaurant industry. 50,000 workers out of work. 50,000. 50,000. 50,000. 50,000 people out of work. Many of these restaurants will not reopen. I keep explaining to people over and over. There is going to be a real problem with getting these businesses from the time of shutdown to the time of reopening. And one of those problems is, and that's why we're talking about it with Reopen America right here, as you see in my little box. Yay, little box. That is what we're working on. We are working on making sure we have, for our small business owners, for our workers, for our citizens, and our job creators and our job doers, they have an idea of when they're going to be able to go back to work. Hey, Patty, how's it going? We can't have until further notice. People need to be able to plan. Look, I need to be able to plan. In fact, I know some people have savings and they're all set up and everything's fine. But if I have to be in the house and avoid and I can't work, if I can't work for 2 weeks or I can't work for 6 weeks, my husband can't work for 6 weeks. Those are two entirely different situations about what I buy at the grocery store. Do you understand me? Do you understand? If I have to use the food if I have to use the resources I have available to me, and I'm just using myself as an example, okay? This is all of Americans. Everybody in the working class is making this decision right now. This is why it's so important that thank you, Tim, we reopen America, hashtag reopen America, and we get a plan. We get a plan from our governors, from our mayors, from our local and state government, what they plan to do to put us back to work. Because as an individual, okay, as a family, if I need to make, let's say I have $2,000 sitting in the bank. Okay, let's just say, we'll make a number up. If I have that $2,000 and I have to pay for the phone bill, I have to pay for the electric bill, I have to pay for these things to keep them on, right? I also have to buy food for my family. Okay, now I don't have any children, but let's for this scenario say I got 2 kids. Okay, I got a husband, I got 2 kids. I got to feed 4 people. Okay, how much do I spend in groceries every week? How much do I spend in gas and other expenses? Okay, I have to figure out how long that $2,000 is going to last and how much in the hole I'm going to be. If my rent was usually $1,000, all right, and my bills are usually $500, that would leave me $500 a month for groceries. Hopefully I'm making more money than that, because that's not a lot of money to feed a family of 4 on you, right? But if you're one of those crazy coupon people or something, you can do it. But listen, even if you take away the rent, even if you take away the utilities, and you say, well, you can't get evicted right now, that's only going to last for so long. In 3 months, when we turn the evictions back on because the economy is turned back on, I now am going to need back rent. And I won't have it. There's going to be a lot of people losing their homes. So you have to balance. How far into the hole do you want to go? And how far into the hole people want to go depends on how long we have to be without work. Ken, that's a good question, Patty. I'm gonna pull that up. Patty asks, Suzzanne, you're a smart lady. So I have a question. Can the president use line item video when the stimulus bill? I do not think so. I don't think he can, and I don't think he will. I think he intends to. It depends on what the House does. Yep, still working. I still see their light on. So they're still over there working. But we'll have to see. I sincerely doubt it. He would use any mechanism to do that. I think he would more likely use rescission, using the money for different purposes once Congress has allocated it, is much more the president's style. Now, but that's what I'm saying. We need a time frame so that we know how much money I need to spend, how much money I should be saving. Should I be eating beans and rice? Is it okay to buy some meat? These are the decisions you have. I mean, I chuckle, but it's actually not funny. These are the decisions you have families making, and they have no idea how long this shutdown is going to last. They don't know when their husband or their wife are going to be able to go back to work. And that is making it it is setting people up for disaster. It is setting people up for disaster because they do not have a way to plan how to survive the current situation. That has to change. The president, now this is what I wanted to say. The president, and we'll talk, Kevin, I see your question and I will bring it up. The president has made it very clear. He wants a time frame. He wants a framework of time so that people can plan. He wants, no problem, Patty. Of course, I'm happy to answer questions. But the president wants people to be able to say, okay, by this date, we're going to go back to work. By this date, that's as long as I have to last them. I will be able to go back to work and start to sort everything out. So now, just because that happens, just because we have a date that says, we'll go back to work, that doesn't mean everybody's going to get to go back to work. Okay. Some people will not have a job to go to. The job will not be open. It will not be able to reopen, and it will not reopen ever again, unfortunately. And it pains me to say, you have no idea how much that pains me to say that. That is the truth, though. That is the truth. There are people who have put their entire life savings, everything they possibly could scrape together. They started a business. They built it on 12, 15, 16-hour days. They, scrubbed their knuckles raw, working, building that business up, building it to where it could hire an employee, hire 2 employees, hire 10 employees, hire 20 employees. Now people's livelihoods, you've created a family. You've got 20, 25 people that work for you that each and every week you send them home with the resources they need to feed their family. Their kids, their husbands, their wives, their mothers and fathers, who's sick and in the hospital, who's winning the Little League games, right? Who made the honor roll. All this about these. They're your family. And what these shutdowns are doing are making these individuals literally lay off these people who they've worked so hard for. And it's a sacrifice that I personally find too much. And I think we need to do everything we can to ensure that these businesses can get as much help and as much speed in getting us back to work. And certainly in states where you have no cases, why are you not at work? Let's have fun. We're better. I want to yell at the states. So here. Okay. West Virginia, you should be at work. Wyoming, you should be at work. Alaska, I heard Alaska's trying to do better. Alaska, I don't even know if you have enough people to put people closer than 6 feet together. You are already spread out. It's ridiculous. North Dakota, no deaths. Montana, no deaths. Nebraska, no deaths. Idaho, no deaths. You should all be at work. Delaware, you don't have any deaths. Why are you not at work? Go to work. People got sick in your state. Go to work. Rhode Island, go to work. Maine, you should be staying at work. Alabama, work. Stay working. To each of these states, do not do this to yourselves. Do not shut your state down. Oh, well, a minute. Let's add the few that up, like 2. Like Tennessee. Hey, Governor of Tennessee tried to pull some, they actually pushed back, okay? They actually pushed back. And they actually got the curfew rescinded. 3. What is it? 5? Is that 3? 3. 3 people died. Oh my gosh. You probably kill more people a year in rock slides in Tennessee. Come on. North Carolina, you should be at work. 2 deaths, 4 in Maryland. I don't know what Larry Hogan is doing. Larry, you are always the first to jump on. It's like Larry Hogan is a Republican, but he's like literally the first Republican to jump on board with the Democrats and beats a lot of the Democrats to the punch, to whatever dumb Democrat talking point that they're doing that day. It's almost like dumb Democrat talking points or a buffet. And so Larry Hogan pretty much shoves everybody out of the way to get there. What are you doing, Larry? What are you doing? Utah, 1 death. Minnesota, 1 death. Arkansas, 1 death. District of Columbia, we only have 2. Why don't our restaurants open? Sorry. We can't go to church. You can't go to mass. You can't have a priest listen to your confession. I'm not Catholic. I have friends who are Catholic. They need that. I will answer you in a second, Tim. I'm in a rant here. New Hampshire, 1. Iowa, 1. You shall be at work. Kansas, work. Vermont, only 8. New Mexico, Hawaii, only 1. And frankly, it's got to be on one of the islands because it's 1 death. So that means it's been on one of the islands, which means you have 0 deaths on the other islands. Go to work. Everybody get up, go to work. South Dakota, get to work. Puerto Rico should be getting to work. Puerto Rico should be busy reopening those pharmaceutical factories that they have there in Puerto Rico so that we can be producing our medicines inside the U.S. territory. So, Michelle, yes, what are they doing in Alaska, right? What are the majors in Alaska? I'm gonna see if Michelle will answer. Thank you for tuning in, Michelle. It's crazy. Alaska. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I know, Patty, that's actually funny. Patty says, you said the lights are still on in the Capitol building with these jokers. That doesn't mean anybody's up. You're right. You're right. It never does. But there's that little light at the top. It's a little DC tidbit, little trivia bit. That little light at the top, when they're in session, that little light is on. So the building, it's the dome, and there's that little top, and they have a little light in there. Ooh, it looks really tiny from far away, but it's pretty big when you get over there. And they turn that on when they're in session. So when they're not in session, the light is off. When they are in session, it's on. You can see that from my house. It's kind of fun to see from my house. And I can actually go and check from my back window here. I can check to see if they're working or not. I mean, I can't really see if they're actually working, but at least they're still there. They're still pretending to work. I can tell you if Congress is still pretending to work from my back window. All right, Tim. Just running what ball the court is in. I've been working all day. So went through the Senate. The bill got into the Senate. Great. They passed it. President Trump negotiated with the Senate Democrat. Bada bing, bada boom. 2.2 trillion. It's not coronavirus. It's choking on the dead. Hold on. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's a lot of money. Whew. Hurts me, you guys. It hurts me. 2 trillion. Oh my God. Okay. Whew. Choking on the debt. Choking on the. Oh my gosh. It's a lot of money. $2.2 trillion stimulus bailout. I prefer bailout because I think stimulus sounds oddly erotic, and I don't want to spend that kind of money for anything that's oddly erotic. Let's be very clear. I do not spend $2.2 trillion on stimulus. So, but it is now back to the House because this is a Senate bill. This is a Senate plan. So as you know, whenever the Senate originates a bill, that has to go back to the House and they have to vote on it. Will they pass it? So far, Nancy is not cooperating. Nancy is not cooperating. I love Patty. Patty, that's so sweet. Patty says, take a drink. Thank you, Patty. I want to thank you because that was acting. I'm so glad. And it worked. I did a good job. There's some skills that I have left behind, but obviously, theatrical coughing is not one of them. And I appreciate, Patty, you saying that. And I will take a drink now just because that's entertaining. Good. Okay. So there are different things going on in different states. In Chicago, the mayor of Chicago has issued a very stringent, she doesn't want anybody gathering. She's got the cops authorized to resist people gathering in groups. They actually went to a kid's soccer game and pulled the cop cars up onto the soccer field so the kids could not continue to play soccer. It's getting pretty hairy out there, and people are going to continue to be very frustrated going forward, in part Because as I said, and it's so important to understand that in part because we do not have a plan. Okay, so Michelle, and she says, I'm a hairdresser. We are shut down. And we're going to pull this up here. This is in Alaska, everybody. I'm a hairdresser. We are shut down. All bars. Anchorage is in hunker down order. Fairbanks, so far, we can roam free. Juneau is in hunker down order. If you fly in from out of state and don't self-quarantine for 2 weeks, you could get a $25,000 fine and a year in jail. And Jeanette says, $5,000 fine if they catch you out. Now, here's what I'll say. A lot of these orders, they are saying a lot of the things they're saying without having the authority to say it. And I've been talking with constitutional attorneys, different individuals across the country, some very well-educated people who have looked very carefully at the rights of the state government to shut down your constitutional liberties. You shut down your right to peaceful assembly and to free exercise of religion, etc. Many of them are quite clear in saying that these executive orders do not carry the weight of martial law. They do not carry the weight to legally actually put you in your homes. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to try, and that doesn't mean they're not going to create policies, much like these fines that they want to use to incentivize you to listen to what they're doing, right? But the reality of the situation is some people are going to defy that. They're not going to stay in their homes. They're not going to stay in their homes. And someone's going to get that ticket. And that person is actually, if you're smart, you won't pay a $5,000 fine. You'll take that to court. I would not pay that fine. I personally would find myself the best lawyer I could find, and I would take it to court as a constitutional matter and would 99% likely be the victor in the situation because we need to challenge these laws. They're using fear. It's the same thing here in DC. Listen, I talked to the police department just this Sunday, okay, just a few days ago when we went down in front of City Hall to do a prayer gathering. We gathered to pray in front of City Hall. Our churches have been shut down. We gathered people together to pray. I wrote the city because we had planned to have more people than the 10-person limit that Muriel Bowser has set. So I sent a form to the police department. Said, hey, we're going to do this. They called me. They said, hey, we're not enforcing that law. That we're not arresting people for going outside. We're not ticketing people for being outside. We're not shutting down churches. We're not going into churches and we're not doing any of that. We're not enforcing this limit, this gathering limit. You know who is enforcing it? You know who's enforcing the restaurants to stay shut down, to the churches to stay shut down? The Department of Health. The Department of Health, you guys. So that is how Muriel Bowser here in Washington, D.C. is continuing to be able to operate these shutdowns. That's why they attacked the restaurants. That's why they went after the restaurants, because they know that restaurants are entirely beholden to the Department of Health. If you are a restaurant or a bar, you have to get your license from the Department of Health. And that means the Department of Health can keep you shut down regardless of your willingness to be shut down, regardless of whether or not the police have any authority to enforce the law. You don't have to have authority. They can say, we need all restaurants to shut down. That there is literally no authority they have to do that. But if you don't shut down, who shows up? Okay. The Department of Health. They say, oh, well, they're not following the CDC guidelines. We better check out their kitchen. Oh, look at this. This isn't perfect. This isn't perfect. This isn't perfect. Violation. Sticker on the door. And now I can't open my restaurant up later. I can't get my restaurant license back. So that's what we see using the Department of Health. Now, there's a lot of states that have had all essential businesses shut down. Mayor Muriel Bowser is trying to do that now. We're going to see how that works because what they've done is picked and chosen different essential business, grocery store essential. In some places, some factories are essential in some states, some aren't. Some states are giving waivers left and right for anybody who wants to file for a waiver that they're an essential business. Others can't. All right. Unfortunately, the things that I think are essential business are some of them not even on the list. That I think I frankly think this idea that we can shut down all the restaurants is ridiculous. There are people who don't cook. There are elderly people who don't cook. They don't. And now you're in a situation where they got to walk to them, and maybe their restaurant does takeout, or maybe it closes down forever. It's ridiculous. But the other question one has to ask yourself is, why do we have states that would be shutting down? Why are gun stores in a time? This is so important because the Second Amendment is being basically railroaded out of existence in some states right now, merely for the sake of a virus and this idea that we need to shut down non-essential businesses. But I have no understanding of what that means, because it seems to me in a time of crisis where you're going to have potential theft, potential looting, you want to be able to protect your family. You're there in your home. Okay. We all have limited resources, and certainly others are going to feel the crunch of those limited resources. We, at all times, when there is a national crisis, that is the most likely time that we should have access to a firearm to protect our families, you guys. Why are gun stores not open? Why is that not an essential business? Okay. In Maryland, all right, Maryland, the gun ranges were open to everybody in Maryland. But if you were someone who was out of state, Larry Hogan banned you. So the ban in Maryland was, you can't come shoot at our gun ranges if you are not a Maryland permit holder, a Maryland licensed gun holder. Okay, well, guess what? You know the only people who are actually going to the gun ranges over in Maryland? Washingtonians, Washington, D.C. residents, us. We're the only ones going over there. Okay. They're not driving all the way over from Virginia. They got their own gun ranges in Virginia. They're not driving down from Pennsylvania. They got their own gun ranges in Pennsylvania. Okay. We are the ones. We are the out of staters they're talking about in Maryland that can't use the gun ranges now. So what's that? Why is Larry Hogan making a law that basically only affects Washington, D.C. residents and Washington, D.C. gun owners? You have to start asking yourself these questions. It's so important we ask ourselves these questions. Who is making the decision about essential businesses? Who is making a decision about what gets closed and what stays open? Who is making the decision about how long things stay closed and things stay open? And who is making the decision about why? Who is making that decision? It might be who? The World Health Organization is making a lot of bad decisions that our Democrat governors are being, as we know, by the deep state, by the Democrats, by the left, who has been so anti-Trump that they would continue to keep their state shut down. Do you believe? Now let's ask a question, because I believe this. I'm going to start with, I believe yes. My answer to this question is yes. Do you believe that the Democrat governors of these states, okay, do you believe they would keep their state shut down at a cost, at an economic devastation to their population, if it would help the Democrats get rid of Trump? I think yes. Yes, I think 100% they would and will. And that is one of the reasons it's so important that I have started Reopen America. Let's talk about what we have accomplished so far this week. I've been talking to so many great people. I just want to thank all of my friends for taking my call when I've reached out to them and talking with me and sharing my passion for our small business owners in this country that are struggling the most under this draconian shutdown craze we see spreading across the country, even for states with absolutely no deaths and minimal cases at all, and not a lot of close quarters at all. Alaska, what are you thinking? So ridiculous. So We are going to need to, at some point, put our country back to work, and we need a plan. The president is trying to create a plan, a time frame. That time frame is going to be so important, but this should be a time frame in each and every state. And each and every state, when they shut down, they should be giving you a time frame when they plan to open up. But you know what happened here in D.C.? We had a time frame. It was going to be a 2-week thing, and then Muriel, we'll just keep schools shut down to the end of April. We'll just keep restaurants shut down to the end of April. And she lets you know in the middle of the night. So this is why we have Reopen America. Our organization, this is what I've been working on, and I'm pulling in some great people, and I'm really excited for all the help I've had this week. Reopen America is an organization that is entirely designed to coordinate and focus our outrage at the lack of transparency, the lack of plan on how we get the economy back to work. I understand there are safety measures that we have taken, and wherever you stand on the vitalness of those safety measures, whether you think they were too much, too little, we can't stay in our homes forever. We can't stay in our homes forever. I'm literally, who I'm arguing with about that, who think that the trolls on Twitter, they're the ones who go, oh, well, we can just pay for everybody. And I go, well, how far? What? Their rent, their clothes, their food, everything, everybody. 227, 37, however many people in the country. We just pay for everybody? No. We couldn't even do it for 1 month, let alone forever. It's the craziest thing ever. We have to get back to work. We, as President Trump said, this country was not built to be shut down. This country was not built to be shut down. So what we're doing at reopenamerica.org is that we are getting everyone, I don't care what state you live in, you need to call your governor. If you have a shutdown order in your state, you need to demand why we have a shutdown order, why the shutdown order is so stringent, and when that shutdown order is going to end. What is the plan for recovering the economy from those lost jobs? How are they going to make sure that every small business that was open when they started the shutdown is open again afterwards? Because it is so unfair that the government has come in and taken these people's hard-earned time, effort, livelihood, passion, money, life savings, and we have decided, we're just going to shut everybody down. And hey, hope you had enough bank account money left. Hope you had enough savings. Hope you have a rich uncle that can bail you out. Because those of you who are just running a small business on faith and gumption, what is the American dream, many of those people will not be able to open those businesses again. And that is unacceptable to me. That is unacceptable to me. So here's how we stop it. Here's how every single day, a new business, every single day, many businesses are closing and may close forever. Every day, we get closer to getting America back to work. Every day that we are back to work, sooner than later, is a day we save so many businesses. So if we can get reopened before Easter as a country, if we can get reopened for Easter as a country, think of how many jobs will be saved if we can begin the process then and not at the end of April. After so many more businesses have been lost, after so many more people's life savings have been destroyed, after so many people have been put on welfare, on food stamps, and on in poverty. What if we stop that? What if we slow that down by ending the shutdowns quicker than later? Quicker than later. Now, it's very important. Excellent, Patty. I'm going to put this up. Patty's calling. We're at Cooper's office tomorrow. Do it. Demand a plan. Demand a plan. Look, we don't need, I'm not asking Governor Cuomo. I'm going to pull your comment up. I'm not asking Governor Cuomo to reopen the entire city of New York and just let everybody run around. He's obviously got an outbreak up there, okay? 30,000 cases. Something is happening in New York that they need to deal with. But that's not happening in West Virginia. That's not happening in Delaware. That's not happening in Alaska. So we don't need to be killing the economy everywhere. We could be doing this in an isolated, protective fashion. We'll be saving our jobs, saving our middle and working class. Now, Teresa, you make a really good point. She says, Governor Cuomo won't answer these questions. He's just posting pictures of a girl in a closet with stuffed animals and her laptop. You make a good point. When I tell people, I say, call your governor, and they go, he's a Democrat, he won't listen. I go, look, Here's the deal. Okay? Even if he's a Democrat, if you call, his staff answers, they get a little annoyed, they write it down, the message goes out. If you call again the next day, the staff answers, they write it down. Next day, it goes on like this. If you call and 10 of your friends call, now say it takes 5 minutes to talk to the assistant, the receptionist, thank you, at the governor's office, okay? Say it takes 5 minutes. Each time they answer the phone, you say, hello, I would like to speak to the governor. I am very upset about these shutdowns. I demand a plan. What is the governor's plan to put people back to work? And then, the governor is trying to follow the health guidelines. Well, do you intend to support the president's plan to put us back to work before Easter? If you, like I had in DC, they go, we're our own entity, man. Okay, well, when do you plan to end these shutdowns? Because we have a very limited number of cases. Get your information, but push back. Ask questions. Okay, now here's the thing. If you call and take up 5 minutes of their day, it's a minor annoyance. They might not notice. Okay, if 10 people call and take up 5 minutes of their day, that's 50 minutes in the day. It starts to get something. They start to notice. They start to go, what? This is a lot of people calling. And they were very upset. There were like a lot of angry people calling today. They're talking about it over the break room in between the little receptionists and assistants. Like, there's a lot of grumpy people, but that's okay. Progress, right? If 20 people a day call for 5 minutes, complain to the office. What is the plan? 20 people a day. Okay. Now you're talking 50 minutes plus 50 minutes. That's 100 minutes. That's an hour and 40 minutes that they've out of an 8-hour day that they've been on the phone talking to angry people. That really starts to get their attention. Okay. And if you multiply that, if you do that twice, if 40 people, now we're almost half the day. Almost half the day is spent. They're just answering the phone. That's what they're doing all day. Yes, can I help you? What is going on? What is the plan? Why does the governor not have a plan to fix our economy? When is he putting us back to work? When is she putting us back to work? I will write this down and pass your concerns on to the governor. Hello, governor's office. When is the plan? Okay, 40 times in a day, half your work day. Okay. What that basically means is that it only takes about 75 or 80 people to call in a day to take their whole day away. They don't know. The receptionist isn't doing anything else. Okay. He's not sitting there quietly. He's not over here doing the emails. The governor was the governor's assistant was like, can you help me with these emails? Oh, sure. No, they get there. The governor's assistant comes over and says, did you get those emails done? He's like, no. 80 people called me to ask me, what is the plan to get the state of Ohio, Michigan, Louisiana, Florida, whatever state you're in, Alaska. They all called and asked me, what's the plan to get them back to work? That's all I could do all day. It takes 80 people, 75 or 80 people. If you talk for longer than 5 minutes, if you yell at them for 10 minutes, less. That's how it works. That's not a lot of people, you guys. I know it seems a lot of people when we only have so many people that Facebook allows to watch my show, but it's a very limited number of people. It's a small number of people. They're calling each and every day like this. We're going to get answers. We're going to get results. We will get a plan. If their staff is not able to do anything but answer the phone and listen to angry citizens who demand a plan for going back to work and protecting the economy as well as public health, then all of these states on this list, on the shutdown list, okay, they'll unshut down. They'll unshut down if we do it hard enough. And they will not extend the shutdown further, which is what they plan to do. So we need to be ready to do that. We need to be ready to make these calls. We should be already making the calls now. We should already start building that groundswell. So I have patriots that are calling every single day. As we saw over here, Patty's going to call Roy Cooper's office tomorrow. Fantastic. Mary, she is in Ohio. They shut down all but the essential works. Now most factories are saying they're essential. Newspapers, car parts, car sales, brickyards, store companies, and installation company. Why are they all considered essential? Great question, Mary. Call your governor and ask him. Or her. I think it's a her. I think it's a him. Excuse me. Call and ask. Why are these things essential and other things aren't essential? Where are you basing these decisions on as far as who can't go to work, who has lost their job and who hasn't? As I said, listen, it's God who decides whether or not you get sick, but apparently your governor decides whether or not you lose your job. And I think we deserve better. I think American citizens and the citizens of every great state in this nation deserve better from their government. Yeah. Unshut America. Reopen America, Jeanette. That's what we're doing. Hashtag reopen America. You know what's great? The left actually got our hashtag reopen America trending the other day. Just yesterday, where the left had us trending because they were using it in a negative light. They were trying to say, oh, Trump's trying to reopen America. He's going to kill everybody. Yes, Trump is trying to reopen America in a timely and safe fashion, as am I, working tirelessly every single day now to reopen America. This is what I'm doing. This is my focus. My focus is to help these small businesses, to help our country restore its constitutional freedoms of private property, to restore that robust economy, that gumption, bootstraps, pull it up by your, pull yourself up spirit that makes these businesses, that makes America such a great nation. Thank you, Carol. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for calling. Call your governors. Go to the page. I'm going to put the link right here. This will take you to the Reopen America page, which right now is our Facebook page. We're getting the website put together. A lot of great things. We're going to have t-shirts. We're going to make sure that we do this up. We're going to have everyone be able to help out and support us in this cause. But the most important thing, get people connected to the group, reopenamerica.org. Apparently Twitter doesn't want me to do that. Reopenamerica.org. And one where that's going to take you to the Facebook page, and you're going to be able to keep in touch with us, find daily calls to action, and we are now starting to target specific states, and we're going to go forward targeting specific states, as well as general states, whatever state you're in. So join us, because if you share the group and if you share to your friends to call their governor, like I said, 75 people in a state makes a whole day's work for somebody answering the phone. That wakes them up. 75 people. It's not that much. We can do that. If we do it together, we can do it. So please share the name, share the organization, share the hashtag Reopen America, share the hashtag Get America Back to Work. We're going to be back again on Friday. We're going to be talking about this. I'm now in the process of setting up a lot of radio interviews. Anything I can do to podcasts, etc., to get this message out, to get people contacting their governor and demanding a plan of getting our economy turned back on. And I will be, so the schedule might get a little wonky, but we are going to have some great things to watch, because I'm looking forward. For example, next Monday, I will be on Dr. Jane's DC, my dear friend, Dr. Jane Ruby, and she is going to have me on her show, which is great. We're going to cross platforms and really just get the message out. Call your governor, demand a plan to reopen America, to get America back to work. So important. If you know any small business owners who have struggled, who have lost have losses, a potential shutdown from this situation, please, I would love to hear their stories. I want to continue to tell their stories. I want to continue to help to connect them so they can defend their business as much as possible. And that's so important. It's also important, you guys, that we keep living. Please keep living. Please keep praying and living and hugging. Okay. You obviously don't hug people who are coughing in your face. Just normal safety procedures, everyone. Basic safety procedures. Clear my throat. But of course, pray, live, hug safely. Don't be crazy don't be crazy. We have immune system for a reason. We're going to be okay. The economy, it's going to take a little longer to be okay. But what I like to do, of course, as I've said, I made a promise that I would end every show in a prayer, and I'm going to continue to make that promise. So if everybody will bow their head, Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for the opportunity you have given me to speak to everyone who comes and listens. And I'm so grateful for the people who do come and listen and do share this information, and that we might be a team, Heavenly Father, to get out the message that is so, so important, that we need to get our country reopened. We need to get people back to work. We are not a country of socialists, Heavenly Father. We are not a country of handouts. We are a country of hand ups, but pull ups. We are a country that pulls ourselves up. And certainly it's okay to hand up. It's okay to help people up. And certainly we would hope that you would open everyone's heart and make it possible for them to do that, Heavenly Father. But we know that you did not create this country to be a welfare state. You created this country to be a nation of doers, a nation of builders, a nation of creators, nation of artists and artisans and amazing people who are doing amazing things, innovators, and so many wonderful things have come out of this nation. We want to bring that back, Heavenly Father. So I ask that you continue to bless our mission here to reopen America, that you continue to bless each and every person who is on our mission, Lord, whether they are working with us or not. We ask that you bring them ever closer to us, that we might unite together in purpose, Heavenly Father, not to notice me or to notice them or to notice any organization, but to accomplish our goal and to give that glory to you, Heavenly Father. Bring us together and make our voices greater in Congress, in song together, in chorus, Heavenly Father, than they are only one alone. And I want to thank each and every thank you for each and every one of these people that will listen and will share and will hear this going forward. Bless them, Heavenly Father. Protect their families. Heal anyone in their family who might be sick, but also protect their economics, Heavenly Father. Protect their jobs. And for those who have lost their jobs, bring them peace, Father, and bring them opportunities. We know that when a door closes, you often open a window. And I ask so poignantly that you would open a window for each and every one of these Americans that have lost their work and their ability to make a living. I thank you, Heavenly Father. Please continue to watch over our president. Continue to guide him in the correct, wise ways of leading this country. Give him strength to know his own mind. Give him strength to know your will, Heavenly Father. Give him strength to push aside the advice that is bad for America. Push aside the advice that might be an agenda that would harm him, and to go ever forward in the agenda to make this country greater and stronger and more prosperous than ever before. Continue to watch over him. Surround him and his family with an army of angels, Heavenly Father, that no weapon, no evil that would be formed against him would prosper, and it would fall to the wayside. And those that would form it and those that would seek to harm him, they would reap upon themselves that which they sought to put upon our president. We ask all of these things, Lord, in your precious name, and the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back again tomorrow. Until then, this is your girl, as always, Suzzanne Monk. Trumping out.